What's up, guys? It's Justin.
And this is Nick.
And this is FF in the Zone. And this episode, we will be talking about our rankings, your rankings and my rankings of each position: quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and tight end. Top 5
fantasy value-wise for this upcoming season.
Exactly. And also, I just want to say tomorrow we will be answering fan questions
on our stream.
On our Google Hangout stream. And make sure you comment down below or
tweet us
at FfInTheZone. So let's not waste any time here. Let's jump right into it. And Nick, starts off with your top 5 quarterbacks.
My top 5 quarterbacks is Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Andrew Luck. Aaron Rodgers 4, Andrew Luck is 5. Peyton Manning, you gotta have him at your one spot.
I agree.
He is a beast. He's gonna dominate. He's definitely gonna be high value, top QB1.
I agree. My top 5 is Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, Andrew Luck at the 4th spot, and Tom Brady. Like you said, Peyton Manning, after the season he had, number 1 spot has to go to him. But I see we disagree. I have Aaron Rodgers at number 2. You have Aaron Rodgers at number 4. So you had him drop a little bit. Why do you have him at the 4th spot?
I think you got Drew Brees and Tom Brady. They're very consistent each year, and I just like them a little bit better than Rodgers.
I like Tom Brady at the 5th spot because Tom Brady, his weapons, he really didn't have great weapons, and he definitely slacked off.
But you know Tom Brady.
He didn't slack off. His numbers dropped a little bit last year. He's definitely a number 1 quarterback, but I think Aaron Rodgers is at the 2 spot because Aaron Rodgers, he could not only run the ball, he could sling it as well. He's got one of the best arms, and he could definitely run around. Tom Brady's great, but you could also count on Aaron Rodgers for running you in a few touchdowns, and that counts a little bit more than passing touchdowns in some leagues. And then I have Drew Brees at the 3 spot. You have him at the 2 spot. I have Aaron Rodgers over Drew Brees just because of the fact that he can run the ball, and Drew Brees has a little bit more turnovers than Aaron Rodgers normally does. And I have Luck at the 4th spot. You have him at the 5th. And now let's move on to the running backs. I have Adrian Peterson at the 1 spot. Most people probably have Jamal Charles or LaShawn McCoy there. I have Adrian Peterson only at the 1 spot due to consistency. I like my number 1 running back to be a solid play who can count on 20 points a week. And LaShawn McCoy I have at 2 just because he can catch the ball in the backfield and definitely run it. Jamal Charles is at the 3 spot, not the 1, only because, he gets hurt sometimes. He's been hurt. He tore his ACL a few years ago. So I trust AP more. And running backs really don't play that consistent the way he's been playing.
Yeah. My top 5.
I forgot to say my 4th and 5th. My 4th is Matt Forte, and my 5th is Eddie Lacy. Excuse me.
My top 5 running backs are Jamal Charles, Adrian Peterson, LaShawn McCoy, Eddie Lacy, and Matt Forte. I think Jamal Charles is definitely the number 1 back. I have to disagree with you. In PPR leagues, he catches passes. He also gets touchdowns, catching them and running them in. My second running back is Adrian Peterson. Like you said, he's very consistent year in and year out. Then I have LaShawn McCoy. He could catch, he could run, just like Jamal Charles, but his value is going to be a little bit decreased, but he's still going to be a top 3 due to dance balls. And then we disagree one more time with Eddie Lacy in the 4th, and then Matt Forte.
I have Matt Forte a little bit higher than Eddie Lacy just because he can catch passes in the backfield, and that's something Eddie Lacy is not that great on. And I just want to say one more thing about Adrian Peterson, why I have him higher than Jamal Charles and LaShawn McCoy, because Adrian Peterson, he's the centerpiece of that team. The team is built around him. He's going to get his touches, and so will Jamal Charles. But Adrian Peterson has less talent on his team. He basically runs that offense, even though he plays running back. And Jamal Charles has a little bit more around him.
Yeah.
So now moving on to the wide receivers, your top 5, Nick?
I'll start off. My top 5 wide receivers is Calvin Johnson, AJ Green, Dez Bryant, Brandon Marshall, and Demaryius Thomas. Like Peyton Manning, you gotta have Calvin Johnson at the 1 spot. You know what you're gonna get with him. And this year he even has another weapon, and the team.
Tate.
Yeah.
and Eric Ebron.
Yeah,
They
that's
drafted
true.
Eric Ebron.
And then AJ Green's my number 2. I think he's a little bit better than Des Bryant. He catches those long balls, gets a lot of touchdowns.
I have my top 5 is Calvin, like you said. Des Bryant, AJ Green, Demaryius Thomas, Brandon Marshall. Des Bryant, even though Witten's there, Tony Romo, that's his go-to guy. And same thing with AJ Green, that's Andy Dalton's go-to guy. But Des Bryant, I think Des Bryant has more. I have him ahead of AJ Green just because he has a little bit less. He's the main wide receiver on that team, and AJ Green has a few other weapons on as at the wide receiver spot. And Tony Romo loves to sling the ball. And at number 4, I have Demaryius Thomas, and at 5, I have Brandon Marshall. I have Demaryius Thomas ahead of Brandon Marshall, and you have Brandon Marshall ahead of Demaryius Thomas, right? I have Demaryius Thomas a little bit higher because Peyton Manning has a lot of weapons. And I know the Bears do too, but Demaryius Thomas can do it in the screen game. They try to get him the ball as many times as they can. They'll give him many screens, and he'll take him to the house sometimes, and he could also catch bombs. And Peyton Manning, I think that's his go-to guy there in Denver.
Yeah. These wide receivers are both going to be top-end ones.
Definitely.
I just have Marshall one spot ahead of Demaryius Thomas simply because Demaryius Thomas has more weapons around him than Brandon Marshall does.
And most people think Alshon Jeffrey is going to hurt Brandon Marshall's talent.
It will increase.
Not talent, value. I think it helps his value because now you can't just worry about Brandon Marshall. You have to worry about Brandon Marshall and Alshon Jeffrey. So I definitely think it's going to help.
You got to split up the defenders. You can't always be double teaming Marshall anymore with a beast like Alshon Jeffrey as your
And
number
the
2.
last position, the tight end. I have Jimmy Graham the 1. You agree with that? I mean, Jimmy Graham is definitely the best wide receiver, not only in football, in fantasy. He's basically a wide receiver. At 2, I have Julius Thomas ahead of Rob Gronkowski. I have Rob Gronkowski at the 3rd spot, and Vernon Davis at the 4th spot, who's also basically a wide receiver, faster than a lot of wide receivers, and I think he's Colin Kaepernick's go-to guy. And at 5, I have Jason Witten because he's a solid play at tight end. He's definitely a tight end 1, and he's got a better quarterback than Jordan Cameron because you don't know who's going to play quarterback, and you don't know. I don't trust that situation in Cleveland more than I trusted Jason Witten and Tony Romo.
My top 5 tight ends is Jimmy Graham. Like you said, he's the best tight end / receiver in football. Julius Thomas, he has a lot of weapons. Peyton Manning likes to throw to him. He's going to be tight end 1.
All these guys
I have Gronk at 3 and Vernon Davis at 4 like you do. Vernon Davis is Kaepernick's go-to guy. And then at 5, I have Cameron. I have Jordan Cameron there because with Josh Gordon most likely suspended for the season, Johnny Manziel or whoever's going to be the QB there is going to need a target to throw to, and Jordan Cameron is going to draw a lot of targets to himself and be a tight end 1.
Do you think Jason Witten's at 6 or no?
I think Jason Witten's at 6, yes.
Okay. And we just want to say all these guys are definitely ones at their position.
Yeah.
We might have a debate on a few players at different spots, but all these guys are number 1.
Yeah, you guys want these as your number 1 running back, number 1 QB, number 1 wide receiver, and number 1 tight end. You should try to get one of these guys.
Exactly. And that's the video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to comment down below any questions, and it will be answered tomorrow
on our stream, 1 o'clock.
Please drop a like, leave a comment, and thank you for watching 1 p.m. Eastern.
Yes.
So make sure you can check that out live. And
to our
thank
channel.
you for watching, everybody.
Thank you.
Peace.